Hi, it's UHD Carlson here. The works of Stephen King have been adapted to film more times than I can count. And today we're going back and revisiting a classic based on one of his short stories from 1986. The movie I'm talking about is Stand By Me, which has arrived on a 4K Steelbook with Dolby Vision. There was an earlier 4K release of the film, but it did not include Dolby Vision, and of course it was not in a Steelbook. I'm going to unbox this release, and I will share my opinions. Nice close-up there with the title of the film and the names of the principal cast. Nice panoramic shot there. There's the spine text. Top of the backing card has the title of the film. On the back we have all of our info. The back has a nice depiction of the classic train scene from the film. Here's the inside of the case. Disappointingly, no digital copy is included with this. We get a Blu-ray of the film, which I believe is identical to the previously released Blu-ray, which is the same one that was also in the previous 4K. And then we have our 4K Ultra High Def release of the film. The bulk of the bonus features are on the Blu-ray, although the 4K does have some previously unreleased, deleted, and extended scenes, which had previously appeared on the earlier 4K release of the movie. Nice shot of the four boys from the film right there underneath the discs. Yeah, I don't understand why, if there's not an insert or digital copy, why they have the little insert tabs. It would have made more sense just to have one of the discs here, one of the discs here, instead of the overlapping thing, but minor complaint overall. I'll read the description of the movie as follows from the backing card. In a small Oregon town, a group of friends, sensitive Gordy, tough guy Chris, flamboyant Teddy, and scaredy cat Vern, are in search of a missing teenager's body. Wanting to be heroes in each other's and in their hometown's eyes, they set out on an unforgettable 2-day trek that turns into an odyssey of self-discovery. When they encounter the town's knife-wielding bullies who are also after the body, the boys discover a strength they never knew they had. When you think of Stephen King stories, you usually think of supernatural horror elements and death. You don't typically think of a small-town story about coming of age with four boys back in the 1950s. But that's exactly what Stand By Me delivers, again based on King's short story, The Body. And surprisingly, it's actually one of my favorite Stephen King adaptations. This was directed by Rob Reiner, one of his first feature films. A few years later, of course, he'd direct Misery, which was also based on a Stephen King novel. The film does an excellent job painting a picture of 1950s life in a small town. And of course, the soundtrack consists of a lot of classic pop songs from the era, so that really further helps to establish the setting, and the movie looks and sounds very nice. It's also expertly cast. The main boy, Gordy, of course, is played by Will Wheaton. He's a shy, quiet author who has doubts as to whether he's a good writer or not, but of course his talents will carry him far in life, as the film is narrated by an adult Gordy played by Richard Dreyfuss. Now the rest of the gang includes Jerry O'Connell, Corey Feldman, and River Phoenix, of course, who was taken from us far too early. Just 3 years after this, of course, River Phoenix would play a young version of Indiana Jones in the opening sequence of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. And the group of bullies is equally convincing, led by a pretty tough and detestable Kiefer Sutherland. And it's just interesting to see these boys go on this journey, come of age, and how much they grow during the relatively short span of time. This movie doesn't even clock in at 90 minutes, and despite that, it packs in a lot of character development and a lot of very funny scenes as well. It's the perfect comedy drama that balances those two elements just the way any movie like this should. It's a fantastic Stephen King adaptation, and one that I think any fan of cinema should watch, no matter what your tastes might be. Again, this is the second 4K release for Stand By Me. A lot of older movies that got releases on 4K from Sony without Dolby Vision are now getting Steelbook reissues that add in Dolby Vision. Some of the earlier examples of this include Starship Troopers, Air Force One, and The Mask of Zorro, all of which I've covered on this channel at some point or another. And I'm happy to say this is a beautiful looking disc. Being set in a small town, of course, you have a lot of greenery and you have a lot of open expanses and blue skies. All of it looks absolutely gorgeous in 4K, and the Dolby Vision and HDR, of course, have that little bit of extra punch, so it's an absolutely beautiful looking disc. I don't own the older disc to compare this to. I don't imagine it's a night and day difference over the earlier release, but if you are going to get one version of Stand By Me, this is certainly the release to pick up. Again, the 4K disc has those previously unreleased, deleted, and extended scenes, those that appeared on the prior 4K release as well. The bulk of the bonus features are on the Blu-ray, which from what I can tell is identical to the previously released Blu-ray. There's a lot of EPK style stuff on there and lots of legacy stuff that I think is worth watching if you're a fan of the movie. Overall, Stand By Me is a fantastic film from the works of Stephen King, expertly directed by Rob Reiner and featuring a fantastic cast of young actors. It's one of those films where everything just comes together nicely, and this disc looks absolutely beautiful. Absolute highest recommendations from this release from Sony and Columbia. Are you a fan of Stand By Me? Is it your favorite adaptation of a Stephen King work? Is it your favorite Rob Reiner movie? Comment down below and let me know what you think. Also, remember to subscribe to this channel for more content. I'm always posting new videos, and make sure you give this one a like if you found it helpful. I'm Taylor T. Carlson. I'll see you next time.